Socrates' overall perspective was that one, the life should be examined, and that you should look at yourself and reflect on your actions and think about what you're doing with your life. He also thought that asking questions about everything in the world would significantly affect your life. For instance, he asked the Athenian government why they did things, certain practices, etc. You can name it. And he realized that asking all these questions helped him gain knowledge. And that is the number one thing a human should be doing in their life, seeking knowledge, because knowledge is virtue. Because of this, he created the Socratic method. The Socratic method, in simple terms, you asking questions about everything. And those questions lead to answers, and those answers lead to knowledge. As I stated previously, knowledge is virtue. Finally, Socrates wanted people to look into themselves and look into their psyche. Socrates believed that, as I stated earlier, the human life is worthless unless it's examined. He quoted, "The human life is worthless unless examined." His overall thoughts were that if you don't look at yourself and reflect on your actions, there's essentially no point in living. You're just doing the same things over and over, and some of those things may harm others. Socrates also believed that most people are ignorant of hurting other people. He believed that that all wrongdoing in the world is due to ignorance and no malice whatsoever. So, overall, Socrates believed that people should look into their lives and question what they're doing, reflect on their lives, because that will lead to more knowledge and overall understanding. This knowledge will lead to virtue. Virtue, as in, you will not do wrongdoing on others and hurt others. So, Socrates has a few things in this time that don't add up. The one thing that sticks out to me that I will mention, though, is that he believes that wrongdoing is the sole reason of ignorance and that there's no malice behind any wrongdoing. In my opinion, that's very wrong, because if we look at many corrupt officials in government, any government in the world, past governments, they all know that they are hurting people for the benefit of themselves. If you look at the American Revolution, the entirety of British Parliament was taking advantage of the United Colonies because they wanted their resources. They didn't care about how those people felt. So that's an example right there that, in simple terms, all wrongdoing is not just due to malice. So it's not due just to ignorance. It's due to malice simultaneously. That's the only thing that Socrates doesn't really take into account, that overall, people can do things incorrectly on purpose. So, Socrates' overall mind was that looking into your own mind will help you find many things about yourself that you wouldn't have been able to find otherwise. Not looking at your life and reflecting on it is a crucial issue that many people don't do. It's insane to say this, but most people should reflect on their lives naturally. That is what he overall wanted for everybody. Now, because of this, he was murdered by the Athenian government, and they wanted him to really adhere to their values and customs and norms. Because he didn't, he was executed, and that's the thing that matters right there. You need to ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, you're simple terms keeping yourself in ignorance. And I really love that fact about him. It's a really interesting thing to think about. If you look at it, nowadays most people don't ask questions because they're embarrassed to. They don't want to stand out from the rest of the people, the rest of the crowd. But that shouldn't be how it is. You should look at yourself and look at others and maintain the idea that you and everybody else is different. You're one of a kind of thing. You can, in using that, that'll help you ask questions. That'll help you think about things. Finally, Because of all of this, Socrates helped develop, not develop, but he helped formulate the idea of psychology as a study. And now, because of that, he helped make the idea of mental health psychology, and that has helped the world progress significantly more than it had back then. So in summary, Socrates wanted people to ask questions because virtue is knowledge. He believed that ignorance is the main cause of all wrongdoing. It all adds up. Virtue is knowledge, ignorance causes issues, and finally, asking those questions can lead to you asking questions of yourself. Am I doing things correctly? Am I hurting others? And that reflection helps people look into themselves and change everything. That is what leads to happiness. And I fully support and agree with those ideas. And that's it.